This video is basically going to show you how to lay out on the graph paper your idea for a bridge. Now, some of you at this time are probably in Bridge Builder playing these different games, and I'm having you try different styles. Some of you might not be there yet, but we're going to cover this sheet in just a second. So let me put it aside. And I want to show you a couple different bridges. First off, on the bridge, we have several parts to the bridge. We have the road bed. And on this bridge, it looks like they built two road beds and kind of sandwiched them together. Okay, so they made it a little bit stronger. And then we have two sides. Okay, these are exactly alike. There's a little bit of wax paper left on it, but that's okay. When we get into gluing, you're going to hear me talk about the gluing. We also have pieces underneath. Okay, and so we look underneath. This one only put one on either side, but I have another bridge. This one put 6 pieces underneath. So we have to have space on our graph paper to draw everything. So this is how we start. In the upper right-hand corner, okay, so I'm going to remember how I'm drawing things here. Upper right-hand corner, normally I would be the opposite way. This is facing me, so I'm going to draw things upside down, but this will look right to you. You're going to count down 2 and into. You're going to put a dot. Then we're going to go 3.5 inches down. Now you could take your ruler and you could mark it at 3.5 and realize what line it goes to. Or you can count 14 boxes. So if you don't have a ruler or you want to check and make sure you have 3.5 inches, count 14 boxes. This next part, I'm going to actually recommend that every 4 boxes for 12 inches, you're going to put a dot. And I do this because I think it's going to be easier when you start designing later on. So we're going to go out and mark every 4 inches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I want to go out to 12 inches. So let me make sure I'm counting here right. So I'm going to end at 12 inches. Coming down again another 3.5. Okay, so coming out 3.5. And now I can actually take my ruler or a straight edge. So again, any straight edge could be any quarter of a book or anything that's straight. And what you want to do is you want to connect the box. Okay, so we're going to just connect that box. And this is our road bed. So our road bed, and this is when it's hard for me to do it upside down here. Okay, so this is our road bed. This is what we're going to start with. You're going to come in 4 boxes, and this one is not a solid line. I want you to put a dotted line in here. And I make it good and dark so I can see it as I'm making my bridge later on. Sometimes I will cover that line with a solid piece. Sometimes I won't. Okay. So the reason I do this is if you look at the bridges, okay, they have this little indentation here. These bridges sit on 2 metal pieces. They'll sit on 2 metal pieces. I'll put a weight in the center and we're going to see how much weight it holds. So that's how we test our bridge. The other thing I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go 6 inches in. Okay, so 6 inches is this line here, and I'm just going to kind of make a line here. Real light line, not too dark, all the way down my paper. And this is the center of the bridge. I'm going to make other light lines all the way down, so I'm going to follow that line down from the end of my bridge, from this indentation. I'm going to come over the other side. I'm going to do the same thing, real light lines. These lines are just going to help me build that bridge. Okay, so they don't have to be too dark. Just lightly put the lines down here. And now we're going to start on the bottom of the bridge. So follow that dotted line down and come up 2. Put a dot. Count up 4, a dot, and then come over to this line, which is counting 4. So you got 3 dots there. Now let's come to the other side. You're counting up 2, count up 4, and over 4 to the line. We now have, this is what's going to be attached to the roadbed. Okay, this line right here. That is going to be attached to your roadbed, and this part here is going to go underneath your roadbed. So this part here will rest against those 2 metal pieces and push out. Remember when we were talking about compression and tension? It's going to push out towards those metal pieces, and I got one of those metal pieces right here. Let me just grab it. So as this is sitting on this bridge, okay, see how that's going to push, it's going to be able to push against it as I'm pushing down. So it's going to transfer the weight and it's going to sit all on those. Okay? So how high can your bridge be? Let's come into the center here. It has to be at least 1.5 inches, which is 6 boxes. It's the easier way to do it than measuring, because sometimes it's hard to see our rulers here. So count up 6 boxes. It has to be at least that high. I had a bridge over here. This one is only 1.5 inches high. Okay, so that one's 1.5 inches high. It's a good keeping it lower keeps it sturdier. So a low bridge is a pretty good bridge. You can go up to, count another 6 boxes, you can go up to 3 inches above the roadbed. So this is where our roadbed is going to get glued to. We're going to take this and flip it sideways and glue it right here to this side. So we can actually go up this high to that high. I tend to like to stay around 2 inches personally, but we're going to get the above part of the bridge in the next video. So I'm not going to talk about that now, because that part is going to go with looking at that sheet that I had laying on the top of this earlier. There's one other thing that we have to do to prepare our paper, and that is trace this lines lightly out this way. Okay, trace these lines so the side of your roadbed's out lightly this way. Now you want to come out here, just come out at least 1 inch, so at least 4 boxes from here. You want to draw a line here, count 4, draw a line, and you're going to have a box to this. It looks like a box right now, but what this is going to become, this is going to become these things that go underneath and in between your roadbed, between your two sides, or underneath your roadbed and between the 2 sides. These pieces under here, and they actually work to to secure the two sides together, because we don't have a lot usually holding it up here. We only can put them on the two ends. Can we actually brace them together so they don't fall in? So this down here is going to keep them from collapsing inwards as we're working on it. Okay, so please, if you have any questions, I know this is going to get posted in your classroom. Please leave a question in the classroom and I will answer those or ask questions in classes or meets. Please, don't be afraid to ask a question. I know this is new to a lot of people, but we've got to start with a base, and this here is our base.